is an ABC color presentation.
Signal set. Height.
That football game over there just evolved after classes let out on a hot afternoon. It might be happening anywhere, but for one difference. One of the players comes from the island of Truk. Another is Samoan. A third comes from Nepal. And one of them used to live in Trenton, New Jersey.
That song, Drifting on the Afternoon Air, is from Thailand. What do football and Thai songs have in common? We'll find out today when Discovery visits Honolulu, Hawaii for a first-hand look at the East-West Center.
Discovery 68, the award-winning program for young people, with Bill Owen and Virginia Gibson.
All right, last one in is it.
Ah, alone at last with the big milk chocolate-covered candy bar, Three Musketeers. So much chocolate, it shouts with flavor.
Chocolate, 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 chocolate.
And what chocolate? Milk chocolate coat, fluffy chocolate whip center. So much chocolate, it shouts with flavor.
Chocolate, chocolate.
Soon after we started making Milky Way, somebody found out how good the Good Food candy bar tasted frozen, how freezing puts snap into the milk-rich milk chocolate, brings out the chocolatey flavor of the fluffy egg white center, makes the corn syrup caramel pulley and hard. Freeze some Milky Way bars for the good old-fashioned fun of it.
Hi, and welcome to Discovery. Today, Discovery has traveled over 5,000 miles for a return visit to the state of Hawaii. When we were here earlier in the year, we took a close-up look at the islands themselves and how they were formed. We discovered that Hawaii was the only state in the Union built entirely on the tops of mountains, and that most of the land was formed in fiery outbursts of volcanic activity that looked like this. Now, much of the major volcanic activity has died down, but occasionally there's still an eruption. And if the lava happens to reach the sea, as it did in 1964, a little more land is added to our newest state. So the state of Hawaii keeps growing, and probably will as long as volcanoes continue to erupt. Hawaii is made up of 8 principal islands running from north to south. They are Kauai, Niihau, Oahu, Molokai, Lanai, Kaho'olawe, Maui, and the big island of Hawaii. The island we're on today is Oahu, and the city is Honolulu. There's the famous beach at Waikiki. And over there, Diamond Head, which every visitor sees when he approaches by sea or air. Honolulu is a busy cosmopolitan city with many famous sights and points of interest. But what we're especially interested in today is something that's going on right here at the main campus of the University of Hawaii. It's located in Honolulu's Manoa Valley. The 50th States University is unusual enough to begin with. After all, it's the only one built on an island of volcanic rock. But in May of 1961, Lyndon B. Johnson, as vice president, dedicated the site of that cluster of buildings down there. And with that ceremony, the East-West Center was officially born. The administration building is named for Thomas Jefferson, and the library for Abraham Lincoln. The theater is dedicated to the memory of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. There's this garden from Japan, designed in the shape of the Japanese language character that means heart. This pavilion is a gift from Thailand. The buildings shine before Oahu's green mountains and under her blue skies. But what makes the center throb and makes the whole idea work is the vitality of the people who come here.
They come from all over Asia and the Pacific to promote better relations and understanding between the United States and the nations of Asia and the Pacific. Normally, there are about 600 students here from some 30 to 35 countries, including the United States.
Reginald Kearney is an ex-Marine from New Jersey. He's one of something under 200 Americans at the East-West Center. It's set up here on a 2-to-1 basis, 2 Asians for every American. One of the conditions for an American is that you must learn an Asian language while you're here. In the case of Reg Kearney, the language is Japanese.
大変困難なことでした。そのため発音の通り一つは2つの読み方を使ってこと。
With students here from so many countries, you think automatically of cultural interchange and programs in Asian studies. But that's only a part of the story of the East-West Center. Chok Chakapak is an East-West Center grantee from Thailand. He's a university graduate in his own country, but he's been given a financial grant to come to the center to learn the mechanics of heavy equipment so that he can return to Thailand and teach it. He's a student, most of whose work isn't done in the classroom.
These girls from Samoa and New Guinea don't see the inside of a classroom very often either. They've come here to learn hotel food services, since it's one of the things their countrymen and women will have to know with the increased tourist industry in that part of the world.
Tokumitsu Yasutomi comes from Okinawa, a Pacific island with a subtropical climate that's suitable for many fruits and vegetables, including corn. This field corn is being developed to increase the ability of farmers to produce locally grown animal feed. And this corn is especially resistant to some of the diseases which plague field crops in Okinawa. When Tokumitsu's work at the East-West Center is finished, he'll return to Okinawa and try to introduce the corn into his island's crop system. With luck, he may make a major improvement in Okinawa's agricultural life because of what he's learned in Hawaii.
Fujiko Imajichi and Makiko Kojitani are young Japanese violinists. They are in Hawaii this year on an East-West Center grant, but most of their work will be done with the Honolulu Symphony Orchestra and its new resident conductor, Robert Lamarquina.
Even 2/8 notes. B again, please. 1, 2.
This is an example of the valuable interchange with community leaders and master teachers, giving the students the opportunity to profit from contact with other cultures. Another of the East-West Center's major projects is the science of oceanography and how the sea may become a major source of the world's food supply. On board the Salpa, a university vessel, Aditi Pant, one of the East-West Center's 39 students from India, does a good deal of her laboratory work. Aditi is researching and studying plankton, a minute form of life which floats and drifts with the currents of the oceans. And the plankton she studies could be a major source of food for India and other countries with too many people and not enough food. Surapan Sudara, a student from Thailand, shares a similar interest with Aditi in the study of plankton as a source of food for fish. Scientists like Aditi and Surapan chart the plankton movement patterns, and their study will be able to predict fish catches for the future. Kaneohe Bay, about a half-hour's drive from the campus, furnished Aditi and Surapan with the plankton-filled waters which they will analyze and study back in the laboratory. In a world where food is a growing problem, it's easy to see the importance of studying ways to increase the supply. And the East-West Center is one place where that's being done. The students also study other forms of marine life. This is a sea cucumber, a plant-like animal that has no power of locomotion and must depend upon the tides to move around.
There's a lot of air and a lot of sea around Hawaii, so it's not surprising how much time is given to the sciences that specialize in the atmosphere and in the study of the oceans. While Aditi Pant works at Kaneohe on the other side of the island, a group of 6 young men and women from American Samoa are hard at work at Honolulu's International Airport. That's Sapili Fuyava, and he's come from Pongo Pongo, American Samoa, to learn a skill which he could put to use when he goes back home. What's this young man doing out here at Honolulu's International Airport? We'll find out in just a minute.
Catch that leprechaun. He's got Lucky Charms.
They're magically delicious.
Always after me Lucky Charms. The oat cereal with sweet surprises. Orange stars, yellow moons, pink hearts, green clovers. See? Magically delicious. They're back. I leap into this picture.
Look, watch this.
Nice doggy.
Lucky Charms.
With sweet surprises.
See? Magically delicious.
Help! The cactus man's got me. Uh-oh, time for Cheerios.
When the Cheerios kid eats Cheerios, his strength and energy grows and grows. He'll mow down Cactus Man, he knows. You get no power from Cheerios. There he goes! He's feeling his Cheerios.
Big G, little O. Go with Cheerios.
These 6 young Samoans are here to become meteorological technicians. They're training for their own country, American Samoa. Actually, there are 2 Samoas. Western Samoa is here, mainly 2 big islands. This is American Samoa, which has been an American protectorate since 1918, when World War I ended. It's composed of 1 major island and 3 smaller ones. The largest is Tutuila, and that's where Pongo Pongo is. These Samoan students will find themselves in Pongo Pongo in a few months. Honolulu's International Airport is the home of a weather station, which is the hub of the world systems of weather prediction and weather tabulation outposts. So it's the perfect place for these young Samoans to come to learn about meteorology. Here's an experiment which will give us some idea of the sort of things Sapili Fuyab and the others are learning here. Sapili is holding a pilot balloon in his hand. Twice a day at weather stations like this one and the one at Pongo Pongo, balloons are released into the air and then tracked by technical equipment, which makes reports on the currents the balloon encounters as it travels upward. What Sapila is aiming for is called a wind profile, an analysis of air currents and changing wind patterns. These instruments take the information returned by the pilot balloon, compute it, and then it's teletyped to key weather stations in the network. This is where these 6 students will learn the skills which they'll need at Pongo Pongo. The Weather Bureau report station at Pongo Pongo is a vital link in a chain that reaches around the world. Pongo Pongo reports to Nandi in the Fiji Islands and to Honolulu. And the information gathered is of great importance to weather forecasting in general and in particular to flight operations. Right now, the station at Pongo Pongo is staffed by mainland Americans who have to be brought great distances to do their work. But soon, these 6 Samoans will take over, working their own station in their own country. and it will be a direct result of the East-West Center.
The East-West Center is more than just a place to learn technical skills. It's also a place to get together with people of different backgrounds. The East-West Center offers the students a comfortable atmosphere for the exchange of ideas and views, which they might find they could not express in their own countries. This is the home of Judge Samuel King and his family. The King family were the first Americans Aditi Pant knew in Hawaii. The Kings are Aditi's host family, and this was the first Honolulu home that she knew when she came to the center. She still comes here regularly. In the 2 years that Aditi has been here, she has come to know the King family well. To her, they represent a strong and rewarding tie to the community. And to the Kings, Aditi is a window to another part of the world.
I am letting the hula too, so...
The center is small enough so that sooner or later, most of the students get to know each other quite well. That's Ott over there, performing one of the dances of her native Thailand for her fellow students. Her real job, though, is as a teacher of the Thai language. Classes like this one, in the Thai language, are open to the University of Hawaii students as well as the people enrolled in the East-West Center. The center was established by the United States government and the University of Hawaii. The Thai language is one of the most difficult of all languages on the university's schedule. The Thai language is tonal, which means that what you want to say depends not only on the words, but on the way your voice rises and falls when you say them. Many of the words sound the same, but the inflection of your voice can give the word a different meaning. For instance, ma is dog, and ma is horse. Mastering the Thai language isn't easy, but Ott students will learn, and will in time be able to apply their technical skills to a world of which they once knew nothing at all. What effect will the work produced at the East-West Center have on the future of Asia and the world? We'll investigate some possibilities from fruit trees to free speech in just a minute.
Hey, everybody, come see.
Not me, Dorothy.
There's nothing to be afraid of, Cowardly Lion. It's a nice surprise. Close your eyes.
All right.
Now open them. See?
Cure ads.
Cure ad comic strips. Ouchless bandages with pictures on them of you and me.
And me?
Yes, Scarecrow and you. Tin Woodman, too. See?
I like that one best.
And even the Wicked Witch of the West.
Oh, I could flip. Imagine me on a comic strip.
Cure ad with a telepath that won't stick to the sore.
Me, ouchless.
Yes, now at the store. Wonderful comic strips with us on them.
Us from Oz.
Get yours right away.
Ouchless Curad comic strips bandages.
Today.
Another fine product made by Kendall.
This is the Olympic year on ABC. ABC Sports will present in October the greatest sporting event in the world, the Summer Olympic Games, exclusively live and in color from Mexico City. ABC's unprecedented coverage of the Olympics will be the most comprehensive in history. 44 hours of matchless excitement in 2 weeks, in prime time at night as well as on weekends. You'll be able to experience as never before the exploits of the world's greatest athletes in track and field, swimming and diving, gymnastics and rowing, the whole brilliant panorama of 20 Summer Olympic sports through ABC's exclusive color slow motion and stop action videotape. Be sure to watch then the 19th Summer Olympic Games from beautiful Mexico City on ABC.
This is the University of Hawaii's experimental farm on the island of Oahu. The three young men working with Dr. Horace Clay are Okinawans. They don't speak English, and he doesn't speak Japanese. But what he and his staff of horticulturists know can make a definite mark on the future of the fruit trees of Okinawa. So conversations about soil enrichment and pest control are carried on with the benefit of the interpreter.
Large size, deep red color, and high vitamin C content. This one actually does possess these characteristics, as you can see.
これはゴアバね、メキシコ来た。とても美味しい、もう、細いシードある、sometimes worm ある、これ。これはとても大きいですね。あんた食べなさい。
The production of fruit is one of Okinawa's main industries, and if the industry improves, the life of the island will improve in other ways. Dr. Clay and these Okinawans are professionals and technicians. Their life work is decided and well along its way.
But the East-West Center also reaches people whose careers have not been decided upon. People like Don Bahadur Suba, who would like to be a doctor. Don is from the tiny country of Sikkim, high in the Himalayan mountains north of India. Don is the first person from Sikkim to enter the East-West Center. In fact, he's the first Sikkim citizen ever to seek education out of his own country. Now Don Bahadur Suba is just one student in the sea of other Asians. He finds himself surrounded by the various languages and customs of Asia, the Pacific, and the United States. The experience that Don is having at the East-West Center may be a little overwhelming at first, but it is one he couldn't possibly experience by staying inside his country's borders. Because he is so young, Don Bahadur Suba has more to learn from the center than he has to give. But there is a phase of the program where the exact opposite is true. This is one of the discussions at the East-West Center, in which students express their thoughts about United States aid to foreign countries. Reginald Kearney of New Jersey exchanges ideas with students from Pakistan, Australia, the Philippines, India, and a fellow American from North Carolina. It's an interesting experiment in international understanding.
I'm not prepared to make the sacrifices sometimes if necessary.
If you believe that communication between human beings of different backgrounds is a good thing, then you'd be pleased by the things you see around you at the East-West Center in Honolulu. Whether it be a heated discussion between Americans and Asians on foreign policy, or a Samoan like Sapili Fuyava handling a football as if he were born with it.
It doesn't matter whether it's a graceful Indian girl like Aditi Pont in a sari, or a beautiful Vietnamese like Bach Mai in a costume of her own country, a Japanese in a kimono, or a Malay in a sarong dress. Everything around you speaks out clearly that people can learn to understand each other better, that we, as Americans, don't have to be cut off by distance, not anymore, and not by difference either.
When you're here at the East-West Center for even a few days, you soon realize that there's hope for better times and a better world. We'll be back in just a minute.
Secret agent.
Since when?
So
since I got my secret agent kit. Free with checks. Look, a decoder ring.
You make up messages in secret code.
It's free in wheat checks. And here's a secret agent pin. You can write invisible messages and make them appear.
It's magic.
It's free in rice checks. And look, a secret message watch.
With a secret compartment.
And it's free in corn checks.
I'm gonna get my secret agent kit.
Kids, get your decoder ring, invisible ink pen, secret message watch, free in special boxes of corn, wheat, and rice checks. The hard charging breakfast from Checkerboard Square.
Fun in the sun and prizes, too. Well, that's what we deliver every weekday right here on Treasure Isle, TV's only outdoor game show. Oh, hello, I'm John Bartholomew Tucker, the only host on TV with sand in his shoes. I kind of think you'll get a kick out of watching our contestants get soaked and sunburned on their way to digging up real buried treasure as they battle across our not-so-sleepy lagoon. Oh, look out there, young lady. Whoops, there goes a girl overboard. But it's really worth it when they finally reach Treasure Isle in triumph. Uh-oh, there goes everybody overboard. Because that's where they get a chance to unearth such prizes as cars, boats, jewels, color TV sets, freezers, treasures enough to make even Blackbeard jealous. And you at home can win, too. So join us, won't you? Spend a Florida vacation every day on Treasure Isle.
We hope you've enjoyed Discovery's visit to the East-West Center.
If you'd like to find out more about Southeast Asia and Hawaii, then ask your librarian for any of these books. Let's Visit Southeast Asia by John C. Caldwell, Hawaii, USA by Lily Edelman, and this book, Main Streets of Southeast Asia by Hal Buell.
Be with us next week as Discovery continues to discover America. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The Discovery Unit's transportation and promotional consideration provided by United Airlines. This has been a Jules Power production in association with ABC News and Public Affairs.
Goodwill gives growth. The handicapped come to Goodwill for personal help. Goodwill counsels them, tests, evaluates, encourages, trains, gives them work opportunity, and makes them self-supporting. Give growth to the handicapped by supporting Goodwill Industries.